everybody. I'm Felisa. And this is one of my favorite mugs. I don't know if you can see it, but it says purpose. Oh, and it has coffee on the outside of it, child. Well, the reason that I love this mug, aside from it, being able to hold probably a whole pot of coffee in it, is the fact that one of my good girlfriends gave it to me, and she gave it to me at a time where I was really just struggling, and she had no idea, which is why I believe strongly in things that are serendipitous and just kind of converge and happen, and the people that are placed in your life at the time that they're placed in your life are meant to either bring you support and encouragement, or they're meant to teach you lessons, and you don't get to choose which. You just get to choose whether or not you enjoy the benefit of whatever it is that they bring to you at the time that they bring it to you. Anyway, so the mug says purpose, an intended or desired result, aim, goal, the reason a person does what they do, what they feel they can add to the world and to the lives of others. And I drink out of this mug almost every single day. And it reminds me of purpose, not because it's stated on the mug, but because I think that it's important to always know and be connected to what your purpose is. And that brings me to the topic of this vlog. I'm always doing something. But what's your purpose? When was the last time you asked yourself what your purpose is? One of the things that I used to ask my children all the time was, why were you born? And I didn't mean it, like in a facetious way, like, what you doing here? Who sent you? No, I think that a lot of times we ask children, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't think that really matters. I think that we need to start teaching our kids to align their birth and their place on earth, and the reason that they're here in this particular time, at this particular age, in this particular town, in this particular century, born to these particular sets of parents. Why were you born? Why do you think that God put you here? Why do you think that you are here connected to the people that you're connected to? How are you supposed to make a difference? And I think that if we start teaching them that, start framing questions around that, then I think that we will have a lot better adjusted adults when they get of age, but we also will have happier adults. There are so many people who pursued positions and careers and lifestyles and people because they thought that that's what they were supposed to do. That has nothing to do with why they were here and helping them to fulfill the call of God on their lives, or their purpose and their destiny and all that kind of stuff, and what their mandate is. And a perfect example of that is I had a professor in college, in undergrad, who I absolutely adored, and he was a Jewish professor who taught African American history. Okay, I'm not saying it can't be done, but I was interested because I'm like, all right, let me see what your perspective is. Well, when we got the syllabus, on the syllabus, it said, all of his credentials, and it had JD after his name. It's like, wow, okay. I'm not really understanding why, if you have a Juris Doctorate, are you teaching African American history? And he taught all of the African American history classes. And so, he, in the class, it was very interactive. He would pass around artifacts. He's been to Africa on several occasions. He brings back things for his class and for his personal collection, I'm assuming. But, and then, like photographs and, actual relics. When I tell you that it was the most interesting, I still have a special place in my heart for him. I won't name him because I'm not quite sure about liability and all that kind of stuff. But this is a very, very glowing recommendation. If you happen to be on a campus in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, look for him. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So, we saw on the syllabus that, he had a JD, and we're like, so you're a lawyer. And he basically told us that, he got that law degree for his mother. His mother felt like, he needed to have a profession that he could make money at, and, that would afford him a certain lifestyle. And, that's what moms do, right? But that wasn't his passion. That was not something that brought him joy. He did it to appease her, which I think a lot of us do. We do things because our parents expect for us to. And I'm not saying that there's anything inherently wrong with that. But a lot of times people get so frustrated and so just out of sorts, and they're completely unhappy, and they begin to lash out and take on characteristics that are just unbecoming because they are so bitter and disenfranchised. You can't chase money all the time. I can't remember who it was. I'm sure it's been multiple people. So I don't know where the saying or the school of thought really originated, or originates with, but basically it's saying, find something you love to do and then figure out how to get paid for it, because that's your passion. That will drive you when nothing else. Money, the check that you get, won't convince you to get up in the morning when you just don't feel like it, and you got to drag yourself out of the bed, and you have to be with people that you really can't stand, and you have to hear one more thing about a topic that you really could give less than two rats behinds about, or sit around and do specs and reports and things on stuff that you just don't want to do. Now, I'll be the first person to admit that, a lot of my career path and even a lot of my educational pursuits has been because I've had a family, and I've done those things strategically in order to get me to the next goal, because I needed a certain income. I needed to do certain things in order to take care of my family, because I didn't have a mate that I could depend on, and I wasn't getting any extra whatever, and I can't depend on the government. So what do? Like most single moms, I'm not special. We get up and we do what we have to do. We make it happen. And I made it happen the best way that I knew how, which was to pursue education. And then after that, pursue certain career paths that will give me access to a certain income level. And I'm not way up here, but we eat. I'm just going to say that. So, I think, though, looking back on it, it's not that I can't do my job. I do my job, and I do my job well. And I have a certain sense of gratification with the job that I have. I want to be clear about that. So I'm not unhappy. I'm not, dreading. I don't have to give myself a pep talk in the mirror like, you about to go to work. You going to enjoy this day. No. None of that. I actually enjoy the people that I work with. I work with a wonderful group of people. It's not that. But I just recognize that there's something on the other side of this career, of this journey, that will tap into my true passions. And a lot of that has to do with creativity, doing things with my hands. No, I'm not going to move to New Mexico and do pottery. I'm sorry if that is offensive to people who live in New Mexico. I'm not suggesting that everyone is barefoot and doing pottery. So please do not troll me. I want to make sure that I'm clear. But when I think about, New Mexico or even Arizona, I think about pottery and cactus for some reason. And I'm not saying that that's not a perfectly lovely life. I'm just not looking for that type of life. So, I just want to be able to tap into those things that make me happy. That's one of the reasons why I developed my business. That's one of the outlets that I have in terms of creativity and making things, kind of happen as I see them in my mind, and, being very hands-on. And that brings me an immense source of pleasure and an immense source of satisfaction. So, even if you're not able to segue into those things that you really want to do at this particular time, there are other outlets and other ways that you can kind of explore that. But as it pertains to our children, like, I think that the field is wide open. Before they have children of their own, before they get married, before they, settle into this life of adulting and having to have all these bills that they created and all of this unnecessary stuff, start having conversations with them about their passion and what really drives them, and gear them towards that. I think that too often we're focused on, oh, they made the honor roll. And I'm not saying that those aren't, wonderful achievements. Just someone who has been in academia, someone who has been, around children a very, very long time. And I have a small nation unto myself with my own biological children. Some children don't test well. Some children don't make great grades, not because they're ignorant or not because they aren't applying themselves or not because of any of those things, but because they struggle in certain subjects. I learned a long time ago, I have a child who struggles in math, and she was just beside herself because she just couldn't get it. And I got her tutors, and sometimes it would click and sometimes it wouldn't. And my mother struggles with math, and I'm not necessarily, I ain't doing, quantum physics. So, I know how much money is in the bank. That's the extent of my math. But, she really struggled with a lot of that stuff. And so when she would get a C, I would celebrate that. You know why? Because that C, with all that effort that girl made to get that C, that's somebody else's A. So I wouldn't take that away from her. I didn't want to clip her wings and make it so difficult for her that she never has a passion about anything. We're so focused on this one thing until you steal their joy and their thunder for everything else. So, if I can't say anything else today, I just want, you guys to really start thinking about purpose and passion and destiny and drive, and just start reshaping and reframing how we really think about those kinds of things. Money in the bank is wonderful, yes, and money makes the world go round, and, poor people, you know, are not necessarily the what we shoot for. You don't want to be poor. You don't want to be in poverty. I'm not suggesting any of that. And I'm not suggesting that you chase the almighty dollar with, like, you're crazy with hot pursuit and you just are hollow inside. There's got to be a balance in between the two. And it is up to you to find it. Please leave your comments below if you have any. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch y'all later on. And don't forget, let's tap into our purpose. Can't see that, can you? Talk to y'all later. Bye.